This video is made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.
With the rising popularity of digital game services like Steam or the Nintendo eShop, there is a growing concern that for physical collectors the future is not looking too brightly. Many smaller developers are unable to publish their games on physical cartridges, and while there is a convenience to playing games digitally, there's also a risk involved that games might not be preserved for future generations. What do we do when digital storefronts close down? Well, that would be the case were it not for companies like Super Rare Games, who focus completely on creating high quality products for digital only games and giving them a physical release. Many of the best games on the Nintendo Switch are now available in physical prints thanks to companies like these. They are in limited quantities because, let's face it, they're still called Super Rare Games for a reason. But I found their selection to be quite varied and really impressive. From the action puzzler The Sexy Brutale, to the gorgeous platformer The Gardens Between, to the tricky puzzler Little Inferno, but also the recently announced Graceful Explosion Machine will be getting a limited physical release as well, which was one of the great first indies to hit the Nintendo Switch. But aside from this premium packaging, I wanted to delve deeper into one of their specific games, in particularly their latest release, Tricky Towers. Now, in October of 2018, our Nintendo World Report reviewer Mitchell gave the game a positive review, but one of his main criticisms was that the base game lacked a lot of originality, and particularly in the themes department. Well, this limited release comes with all the DLC pre-installed on the cartridge, meaning there's a lot more variety for you to choose from. So let's just quickly go over what's inside the limited collector's edition of this version, and then let's talk some more about the game. This physical version of the game comes of course in a box and is printed on the cartridge, but also adds a manual/art book and some trading cards. And even if you're not picking up this specific collection, it might be a good game for you to check out, since it's a great local multiplayer game, and I think some of you might be right now in the mood to find some new local multiplayer games to play with your friends or family while, being stuck at home. So Tricky Tower is a multiplayer puzzle game in which you stack blocks in order to build a tower, while using power-ups and other items to topple over the towers of your opponents. It's a real pick up and play gem and especially great for local multiplayer sessions. Unlike a lot of other dropping block puzzle games, Tricky Tower places a lot more emphasis on tactical long-term plays. Whether you are playing puzzle, race or survival mode, you are much better off when placing your blocks in a solid foundation. Where games like Tetris or Dr. Mario do give you some leeway when you've made a mistake, in Tricky Towers every single block can become a help or a hindrance. This is also determined by the speed at which you drop blocks, since this tends to shift the balance of the tower you are building. Power-ups quickly become your best friends and come in two forms. Either you can use them to distract or hinder your enemy by making blocks drop slower, bigger or locked in place, but you can also choose to help the construction of your own tower. Vines can stabilize connecting pieces, and lightning strikes remove a previously placed piece, which certainly helps when you mess up. The highlight of the game are the several multiplayer options. Local multiplayer especially is a lot of fun, since the game is primarily focused on the competitive aspect of building a tower, but can easily be understood by almost anyone. The gravity mechanics can be frustrating to work with, but once you get the hang of things and stop playing the game like Tetris, the game becomes something all its own. The online multiplayer modes are great too, and I'm hoping that with this release there will be more online players to play the game with. Though I have to agree with Mitchell's review that it is a shame that the online modes are decided at random. I wish there was more customization in that aspect. Additionally, while the included DLC with this collector's edition is really nice, I don't think it's all that necessary. Sure, some indie game guest appearances like Octodad and the Archer from Towerfall Ascension are fun additions, but they don't enhance the experience or bring much of their own to the title. I think you would be wiser in investing the money into purchasing an additional Joy-Con, because the multiplayer component is where most of the fun can be had. So yeah, if you're looking for a great local or online multiplayer title, I think Tricky Towers might be a great game for you. The game has a lot of options to choose from, and you can even get the DLC if you want some more customization or new characters to play around with. The game has also been out for quite a while, so you can get it probably a little bit cheaper in a sale from time to time. This particular limited edition might be harder to find right now, but maybe in the future Super Rare Games will have a physical game that you really like. So be sure to use our link in the description to stay up to date to all the games they're releasing in the future. Are there any other local multiplayer games or games in general that we might have missed out on or you want to see us return to? Let us know in the comments down below. As for me, my name is Willem, and thank you very much for watching today.